Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is my little rant on the documentary of EDP445. I barely started, not started, but I barely finished seeing it from a reactor that I reacted to. And the documentary itself, I think, is one of the craziest documentaries in the history of YouTube. Um, it's crazy to me that EDP445 doesn't see himself as a bad guy and he thinks it's all fun and games, but in reality, what he did was pretty horrible. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it. I think director that like directed like another documentary uploaded it on YouTube recently, so go check it out from there, or just put like EDP445 documentary on YouTube, or just see it from other reactors and stuff. But yeah, in my mind, I think it's one of the craziest documentaries I've ever watched. I think it's as bad as like Jeffrey Dahmer, Hannibal Lecter, all those crazy cannibalists that have done harm to the community and to society in general. I think EDP445 really took it to that level. Um, you know, it's because I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it. So if you haven't seen it, you could look away from my honest reaction to the video. But I guess I'll spill the beans. He said that it all started from him getting a message from a 13-year-old and him having on and off conversations about it, him sending explicit content and just nasty, trifling stuff that you know it's pretty damn crazy and diabolical in what he did on his part, especially because he's a grown adult and she was a 13-year-old. But just him doing that over and over and over again, him not stopping. He even said in the documentary that he blocked her and then he unblocked her and then he blocked her and then he unblocked her. Goes to show you that he didn't have a way of stopping. It wasn't no on and off switch. It was just like a in between switch that was on and off. Talking about that 13-year-old, he was first caught by these YouTubers called predator poachers. They messed up the whole situation. He didn't get jail time. The second time the first time he did it, it was a decoy as a 13-year-old from predator poachers. But the second time he did it, it was an actual 13-year-old. And these YouTubers, Skater Gene and Gideon, they went to go confront him at his treatment that he has to do for his... He had like stage 5 kidney cancer or something like that. But yeah, they botched that one the second time with an actual 13-year-old that he was talking to. So, in my mind, I'm thinking like, if you're gonna try and catch someone that's doing, super bad stuff, why not get the police involved beforehand, or give them all the transcripts, all the things beforehand, and then they could go, and then they could prosecute him, be like, oh, I have the evidence, here's the evidence, blah blah blah. Even Chris Hansen, one of the biggest online predator catchers that there is, or the OG, he even said that what they did, or how the YouTubers try to intervene with him bringing a predator, was all sloppy, and that's why it got botched 2 times, or that's why he's still let go, or a free man, which is crazy in my opinion. I don't know, just the documentary itself is super disgusting, super nasty, super diabolical, super trifling, just like the worst of the worst. And I've seen like the Jeffrey Dahmer, Hannibal Lecter or Lester, etc., etc., and his documentary has to be in to that type of bad temptations of the sick mind of EDP445. In the beginning, I saw him. He was making goofy videos, being himself. He didn't really give a flying F about what anyone thought. I was like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. He's a big time Eagles fan. He's a diehard Eagles fan. I saw a couple of videos of him and I was like, okay, cool, nothing to him. But he even stated in the documentary that the only reason he went after the 13-year-old in the first time was that because he was lonely. But I mean, if you're not to say that doing that is a good thing, but there's other ways to hit women. Not hit women. That's a horrible misconception. Um, not to hit women, but to meet women. I hate women. To meet women, at a bar. You could go to a bar. You can even go to the park. A park. Well, the park not so much. A lot of kids are there. Never mind. The bar. You could just drive around. Go to the mall. You can even go to the damn strip club, or even hire some girls that are working on the side of the road for some action. If you're lonely or if you're desperate, you don't have to go for kids or kids or boys or girls that are under 18 years old. Which to me that's bad. That's not. I don't know what his mind was thinking of. I mean, the whole documentary, he just paid it off like, oh, this wasn't a bad thing, blah blah blah. This is whatever. I did talk to that 13-year-old, to that 15-year-old. I did want to do this and that to them, and blah blah blah. He was being very honest, but in my mind, I think him being honest like that is still gonna put him in jail. It said in the documentary that they said by next year he could be prosecuted and sentenced. So I really hope so. I don't know. Just I thought he was done being like that. I think I only saw the first time where the predator poachers were decoyed as a 13-year-old. That was the only time that I knew about it. But yeah, I didn't know about the second time. Oh, and then he also had a girlfriend, and he had a best friend since I think middle school. That was praising him. That was literally telling the person that was documenting EDP444 that he's a good person, that he would never message a minor, he will never be explicit with a minor, and this and that, and that all this will go over. Like, that's weird that people don't see the bad side of someone. I don't know if it's because they don't want to lose a friendship or they don't want to lose what they have with that person. But if it was me being EDP445's best friend since middle school, I wouldn't talk to him. I would block him. I wouldn't, like, no, you did something horribly wrong. He didn't learn from his mistake the first time. He just kept on going and going, sending pictures, sending videos of nasty things, explicit things. I don't really want to say, because YouTube will probably freaking copyright me or whatever. But that's besides the point. But yeah, the documentary EDP445 has to be one of the most trifling, most disgusting, most horrible documentaries I've ever seen. And I've seen, some pretty, truthful ones with like Jeffrey Dahmer and all them crazy people that kill people, eat people. And I think his documentary has to be in that same category because it is that bad. I don't know, man. It's crazy just to have that thought about kids under 18-year-olds, having that attraction towards kids that are under 18. I mean, even 18 and 19, that's still pushing it. I know this generation can be a bit, I guess, open. I do see it a lot. But especially like teenagers and high schoolers trying to get attention, by wearing explicit clothing, trying to show off, you know, what I guess show off what their mama gave them, um, but I think that's also the parents' fault of them um, going out like that, trying to be explicit, because in the end of the day, you're gonna have those people that are gonna go up to them, you know, and the teenagers, middle schools and teenagers are not gonna, know how to handle that situation. They're gonna be followed. They're gonna be basically attention getters from guys that are older. You know, I don't know. That's just my take on what happened. You know, with the documentary of EDP445, it's pretty crazy. Um, I think now we live in a world where um, I guess everything is just mainly for content, attention getting, and views, which I think is pretty bad. Like with me, I don't even make a lot of YouTube content, but I do it when I actually want to speak my mind to you guys, to the public, and whatnot, and give you guys my honest opinions. You know, that's what my YouTube channel is about: giving my honest opinions, giving you the truth, what I think. What you guys want to think, about what I have to say and whatnot. But yeah, EDP445 is a monster. I hope he goes to jail for life. After next year or whenever they prosecute him, and I hope they find substantial evidence to his prosecution. They have all the evidence that they need. The freaking documentary literally shows all the evidence that is needed. So if the judge wants to overturn the trial on EDP, or time for EDP 445, then that's crazy, because I have seen judges overturn a lot of predators, a lot of pedophiles that they have evidence, but they only give them like a month sentence, or community service, or even freaking a week in jail. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of sick weirdos out there that try or are attracted to minors, and I think that's disgusting, and trifling, and all the above bad, very bad. I don't know. I don't know EDP. I And also with EDP, the doctor told him to lose 100 pounds and whatnot. For I think to get a new kidney or something from his, because he had. I think he had stage 5 kidney cancer. I thought stage 4 was like the ultimate one, but I think there's another one, stage 5, which I didn't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they made a documentary about him. I'm glad that they have actual evidence now. I hope that he gets prosecuted. Please, judge, don't disappoint me. Please, jury, say every damn truth so the judge can actually prosecute him in a manner that gives him life in jail. Yeah. His So yeah, his, even now I'm trying to like just process his whole documentary, and it's pretty bizarre, pretty disgusting, bizarre, crazy, trifling. Every word that's the synonym of bad in the damn dictionary, that's EDP445. So yeah, that's my opinion on how his documentary was to me. I'm still trying to process it. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see in the next video, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.